She feels it first, always, before the masculine breaks, before he surrenders, before he even admits the truth to himself. The feminine already carries the weight. Her body knows, her soul knows. The silence in the field shifts, and she can no longer wait. This is the moment where the universe whispers, "Move first." Not to chase, not to beg, not to force, but to embody what is already real. Because when she rises in alignment, the masculine has no choice but to follow, and the final stage of union begins with her. Why the feminine must move first. On the twin flame journey, one truth always returns. The divine feminine feels it before the masculine. She senses the shifts, the waves of energy, the pressure building in the field. Long before he admits it, long before he takes a step, she knows. And it is not an accident, it is design. The feminine was created as the vessel. Her role is receptivity, intuition, alignment. She is tuned to frequencies that the masculine often resists. While he lives in the mind, she lives in the body. While he hides in logic, she feels in spirit. That is why she is always the first to sense when the final stage is approaching. Her system is wired to feel the call before he even realizes what's happening. But this early awareness comes with responsibility. The feminine must move first, not in chasing, not in begging, not in forcing the masculine's hand, but in stepping into her own alignment, into the truth of union already alive within her. Why is this necessary? Because the masculine is slower to surrender. His defenses are stronger. His ego has been trained for years to avoid vulnerability. If both of you waited for him to move first, the union would stall endlessly. That's why the universe placed this sacred role on her, to ignite the shift through her own embodiment. Think about it. Every major turning point in your journey began with the feminine feeling something stir. She felt the pull to release attachment. She felt the need to heal a wound. She felt the call to surrender. And when she did, the masculine eventually followed, not because she told him to, but because the field changed. Her vibration shifted, and he could not resist it. This is how the union works. Energy precedes action. When the feminine steps into alignment, the entire field of the connection realigns. The masculine may fight, but he fights against a current that is now too strong to deny. Her movement creates the container that allows his surrender. Without it, he would keep looping in his fears. With it, he finally feels safe enough to let go. Many feminines struggle with this. They wait, watching his silence, asking, when will he act? But the universe always turns the mirror back. When will you rise? Because the final stage is not about waiting, it's about embodying. It's about living as though union is already here, trusting that your movement in truth is the very spark that makes his surrender inevitable. To move first is not to do his work for him. It is to do yours fully. It is to release every illusion, every fear, every lingering attachment that still holds you back. It is to choose alignment even when his silence tempts you to doubt. It is to breathe into the truth of the bond, even when appearances tell you otherwise. That steadiness creates the energy that carries him across his final threshold. The masculine will always resist longer. That is his test. But the feminine's test is to not let his resistance define her. She is asked to lead through alignment, to rise before he does, to trust the unseen movement in the field. And when she does, something powerful happens. The entire energy of the connection shifts. His pride weakens. His walls collapse. His longing grows unbearable. Because her movement pulled the energy forward, and now he cannot deny it. This is why the feminine must move first in the final stage. Not because she is stronger, not because he is incapable, but because her role is anchoring truth before him. She is the mirror that shows him what surrender looks like. She is the living example that faith is not weakness but power. She is the spark that lights the way when his ego still trembles in the dark. So if you feel the call now, if your body aches, if your heart trembles, if you can no longer stand still, it's because the universe is telling you it is time to move in alignment, time to embody the union before it manifests, time to step into the role your soul chose before you were born, because the feminine moves first, and when she does, the masculine follows, not in theory, not in hope, but in energetic law. This is the design. This is the order. This is the way the final stage begins. When the feminine reaches the point where she must move first, the universe does not stay silent. The signs begin to multiply. They echo through her body, her emotions, her dreams, and her everyday reality. These are not coincidences. They are signals that the final stage has arrived and that it is her turn to lead the movement. The first sign is the shift in your inner landscape. Feelings you once carried quietly now roar inside you. The longing intensifies, but not in a desperate way, in a way that feels like urgency. You can no longer hide from your truth. It spills out of you, demanding expression. You may find yourself journaling more, speaking your truth aloud, or feeling restless if you try to keep it inside. This is the universe saying, you cannot suppress what is ready to be embodied. The second sign is a change in your relationship with waiting. What once felt like patience now feels like stagnation. The old energy of waiting passively, hoping for him to act, becomes unbearable. You start to feel that you must move, not toward him, but into your own alignment. Suddenly, the idea of putting your life on pause for union feels false. The feminine is being called to live as though she already carries union in her field, because she does. The third sign is synchronicity. Numbers appear more often: 11, 11, 22, 22, 555, each one echoing transition and alignment. You hear songs that speak directly to your situation. His name shows up in unexpected places. Conversations with strangers carry the exact words you needed to hear. These synchronicities are not random. They are confirmations that the field is shifting and that your role is to take the next step first. The fourth sign is physical. Your body begins to respond as though preparing for something greater. Waves of exhaustion come out of nowhere, forcing you to rest and integrate. Then, bursts of energy and creativity ignite you suddenly, pulling you to act, create, and express. You may feel pressure in your chest, warmth in your heart, or vibrations in your solar plexus. These sensations are the body's way of anchoring the energetic upgrades necessary for the final stage. The fifth sign is the collapse of illusions in your external world. Things that once distracted you no longer satisfy. Relationships, jobs, or habits that felt good enough now feel empty. The universe strips away what no longer matches the vibration of union. At first, this can feel destabilizing, like losing things you thought you needed. But the deeper truth is that you are being prepared to carry only what belongs in the energy of union. The sixth sign is dreams and visions. You may dream of your masculine more vividly, sometimes with tears, sometimes reaching for you, sometimes standing silently but present. These dreams carry weight. They are not random images. They are glimpses of the energetic truth surfacing beneath his silence. They confirm that his soul is already leaning into the connection, but that your role is to embody before he does. And perhaps the clearest sign of all, you feel the undeniable pull to act. Not in chasing him, not in breaking the silence out of fear, but in embodying your truth so fully that the energy itself moves the union forward. you feel the call to live your mission, to step into your purpose, to align your daily life with the reality of who you truly are. That is the feminine's movement, stepping fully into herself. Many feminines mistake this pull as a burden. They ask, why do I always have to move first? Why can't he just step up? But the deeper truth is that this role is not punishment. It is sacred trust. The universe knows the feminine is strong enough to hold the frequency first, to embody love before it is reflected physically. She is the one who carries the flame, and her choice to move creates the container that finally allows him to follow. So if you feel restless, if waiting feels impossible, if your heart burns with urgency, if synchronicities are louder than ever, these are not signs of failure. They are signs that it is time to rise, time to embody, time to step into the truth that the feminine must move first. Because when you do, the entire field shifts. And when the field shifts, union becomes inevitable. One of the greatest truths about union is that the masculine cannot fully surrender until there is a container strong enough to hold him. For years, he has lived in resistance, hiding behind work, distractions, pride, fear of vulnerability. When his walls finally begin to collapse, it does not feel graceful to him. It feels like chaos. It feels like the end of everything he thought kept him safe. And in that collapse, what he needs most is a field steady enough to show him he will not be destroyed by surrender. That field is the feminine. This is why the feminine must move first. Her role in the final stage is not to chase, not to demand, not to control. It is to create the energetic container where his surrender becomes inevitable. But what is this container? It is the vibration she carries when she is aligned with truth. It is the frequency of safety, of love without conditions, of openness without desperation. It is the energy of a heart that says, I know who I am. I know this bond is real, and nothing you do or don't do can take that from me. That steadiness is the container. When the masculine begins to feel his ego collapse, he looks for evidence that surrender is safe. If the feminine spirals into fear, clings, or reacts, he feels the instability and retreats again. Not because he doesn't love her, but because the energy mirrors his fear. But when she stays anchored, when she embodies faith, even as everything shakes, he feels that safety. He feels that there is finally a place where he can let go. The container is not built overnight. It is built choice by choice. Each time the feminine chooses to trust rather than doubt, the container strengthens. Each time she releases attachment instead of clinging, the field grows steadier. Each time she lives from her mission, her purpose, her joy, rather than waiting passively for him, the container expands. Slowly, the masculine begins to feel it in his soul. Maybe it is safe. Maybe I can surrender. Think of it this way. If his soul is the flame, your alignment is the lantern. Without the lantern, the flame flickers in the wind and risks being blown out. With the lantern, it burns steadily, protected, visible, alive. That is what your energy does. You are not carrying his fire for him. You are creating the space where his fire can burn without fear. This is why the feminine's movement is not about chasing him physically. It is about becoming the version of herself who can hold the field of union with or without his immediate action. It is about choosing sovereignty so that when he steps into stability, not chaos. The masculine will surrender. His soul has already chosen it. But how easily and how fully he surrenders depends on the container that surrounds him. If the field is shaky, he hesitates. If the field is steady, he collapses into it. Creating the container is sacred work. It asks the feminine to face her own fears of abandonment, her own need for proof, her own temptation to give her power away. And every time she chooses alignment over pour, she is not only liberating herself, she is building the exact structure that his soul needs to finally let go. So, beloved feminine, understand this. Your role is not passive. Your role is not secondary. Your movement into alignment is the very thing that makes his surrender possible. You are not waiting for him to create the container. He cannot. That is your sacred design. And when you embody it fully, when your energy becomes the field of safety, of love, of truth, he will feel it. He will know. His soul will recognize that the time to collapse into union has come, because surrender does not happen in a void. It happens in a container, and you are the one who creates it. For so long, the feminine has been told to wait. Wait for him to awaken. Wait for him to reach out. Wait for him to be ready. And while patience has its place, in the final stage, waiting passively becomes the greatest danger. Because waiting in passivity is not alignment. It is stagnation. It is the energy of lack disguised as devotion. And this vibration can delay union more than the masculine silence ever could. Why? Because passivity is rooted in fear. When you wait without moving in your own alignment, what you are really saying is, I don't believe union can happen unless he acts first. That belief anchors you in doubt, and doubt becomes the frequency that fills the field. Instead of embodying union, you are embodying separation. Passive waiting drains your power. You stop living fully. You put dreams on hold. You silence your voice. You place your entire destiny on his actions, forgetting that union is not something he delivers to you. It is something you create energetically together. The masculine is not your savior. He is your counterpart. And if you shrink into passivity, the energy between you becomes unbalanced. This is why the universe insists that the feminine must move first. Not to control him, not to manipulate the timing, but to break the illusion that she is powerless. Passive waiting keeps her stuck in victimhood. I can't be whole until he chooses me. But alignment breaks this lie. Alignment says, I am whole now. I embody union now, and my energy is strong enough to carry us into truth. The danger of waiting passively also shows up in the masculine's field. Remember, he feels you even if he cannot explain it. When you sit in waiting energy, he feels the weight of expectation pressing against him. He senses the heaviness of, I need you to move, and instead of feeling safe, he feels trapped. This only feeds his hesitation because the energy mirrors his fear of being controlled. But when you shift out of passivity and into active alignment, the field changes. Suddenly, he doesn't feel pressure. He feels possibility. He senses freedom in your energy. He feels invited, not demanded. And that invitation is what draws him closer. So what does passive waiting look like? It looks like scrolling endlessly through signs, desperate for proof. It looks like putting your life on hold, afraid to make choices until he appears. It looks like rereading old messages, replaying old memories, trying to anchor in the past instead of embodying the present. It looks like shrinking instead of rising. And what does active alignment look like? It looks like living fully, pursuing your mission, creating, loving, shining your light. It looks like waking up and asking, how can I embody my truth today? It looks like anchoring union in your energy so that when he feels the field, it already vibrates as home. The truth is this: the masculine cannot lead the final stage. His soul is ready, but his mind still trembles. If you wait passively, you mirror his fear. If you move in alignment, you mirror his destiny. That choice determines how quickly the union manifests. The danger of waiting passively is that it keeps you stuck in the illusion that you are powerless. The feminine was never powerless. She is the one who feels first, who anchors first, who moves first. She is the one entrusted with carrying the flame before he can. And when she forgets this, the journey stalls. So do not wait in silence, shrinking, hoping for him to rescue you. Rise in alignment. Live as though the union is already true, because energetically it is. And the moment you embody that truth, he cannot resist it. Passive waiting delays. Active alignment accelerates. And in the final stage, acceleration is everything. How the feminine shapes the field of union. In the twin flame journey, the masculine often believes he is in control. He thinks his choices, his silence, his actions dictate the pace of union. But energetically, the truth is far different. The feminine shapes the field. Her alignment, her vibration, her ability to embody truth directly determines how the connection unfolds. And this is why she is called to move first in the final stage. The field is the energetic container that exists between you, invisible to the eyes, but undeniable to the soul. It holds every thought, every emotion, every intention. It is where your spirits communicate when your voices do not. And the feminine, by design, has greater access to it. Her intuition is sharper, her sensitivity is stronger, her heart is tuned to frequencies that the masculine often avoids. This makes her the one who anchors the tone of the field. When the feminine embodies fear, the field vibrates in fear. The masculine feels it, even if he doesn't understand why. Suddenly, he hesitates, doubts, pulls back. Not because he doesn't want union, but because the energy feels unstable. But when the feminine embodies trust, the field steadies. The masculine feels that safety. He doesn't know why, but he feels drawn closer, more restless in separation, more compelled to surrender. This is why your alignment matters more than your words. You don't need to tell him what this connection is. His soul already knows. What determines his movement is not your explanations, but your vibration. The frequency you hold becomes the environment his soul either resists or leans into. You shape that environment with every choice you make. Think of it this way. The masculine is like a seed. He contains everything within him: the love, the surrender, the potential. But the seed cannot grow without the right soil. The feminine is the soil. She shapes the conditions. If she is rooted in fear, doubt, and passivity, the soil is dry and hard, and the seed struggles. If she is aligned, trusting, radiant in her truth, the soil is fertile, and the seed grows without effort. Shaping the field does not mean carrying him. It does not mean sacrificing yourself for his process. It means embodying union within yourself so strongly that the field reflects it. It means choosing to live as though you already are in union, because energetically you are. And when the masculine enters that field, he feels home. He doesn't need convincing. His soul recognizes the vibration instantly. The feminine shapes the field every time she chooses presence over waiting. Every time she lives her mission instead of shrinking into fear. Every time she responds with love instead of spiraling into doubt. These choices ripple through the energetic container, creating stability and magnetism. The masculine may not understand it mentally, but he feels it in his body. Something about her feels safe. Something about her feels like truth. This is why the universe entrusted her with this role, because she has the strength to hold the vibration first. She can feel the waves, yes, and that sensitivity once felt like a burden, but now it becomes the greatest power. Because by shaping the field, she shapes the future of the union itself. So, feminine, never doubt your role. Never believe that waiting passively is enough, or that his silence means nothing is happening. Every choice you make shapes the energy he will eventually surrender into. You are not powerless. You are the architect of the field. And when you choose alignment, when you choose love over fear, when you move first, the field transforms. And when the field transforms, union is no longer a question of if. It becomes only a matter of when. Why the universe entrusts you with this role. Many feminines ask in moments of exhaustion, why me? Why do I always feel it first? Why do I have to move before him? The question is honest, born from carrying so much weight on this journey. But the deeper answer is this. The universe entrusted you with this role because it knows your soul is strong enough to carry it. The feminine is not given this responsibility as punishment. She is chosen for it because of your design. Her essence is receptivity, intuition, embodiment. She feels what others cannot feel. She senses what others ignore. This sensitivity, which once felt like weakness, is actually the exact quality that makes her capable of anchoring the union. Because the masculine, in his current form, would resist it endlessly if left to move first. You were entrusted with this role because your soul volunteered for it before you even came into this life. At a higher level, you agreed. I will carry the flame first. I will move before him. I will embody the truth until he feels safe enough to join me. This was not forced upon you, it was chosen by you, and that is why it resonates so deeply, even when it feels heavy. The universe sees the feminine as the anchor. When storms rise, she is the one who can breathe through the waves, who can let the pain move without being destroyed. She was designed to transform energy, to take what is chaotic and turn it into clarity. This alchemy is not something she has to learn. It is who she already is. That is why she feels more, why she is pressed harder, why she must move first. The masculine, on the other hand, carries a different role. His essence is action, structure, outward movement. But before he can embody that role in union, he must be stripped of illusions. That process is messy, disorienting, and terrifying for him. Without the feminine already holding the field steady, he would not know how to trust the collapse of his ego. Her alignment becomes the ground he lands on when his walls fall. This is why the universe entrusts her with the first step, because someone must hold the truth while the other trembles. Someone must embody love while the other still hides in fear. Someone must remember the bond when the other tries to forget. And that someone is her, not because she is stronger, but because she is designed for it. There is a sacred balance in this. The feminine leads energetically, yes, but once the masculine surrenders, his role as protector and builder rises. He takes the energy she has anchored and manifests it into the physical, grounding union, into reality. Together, both roles are necessary. But in the final stage, her role comes first, because without her, there is no safe container for him to step into. The universe trusts you because you have already proven yourself. Look at your journey. Every time you broke, you rose again. Every cycle of silence, you survived. Every wave of pain, you carried. And each time, you become stronger, wiser, more aligned. That resilience is why the universe knows. She can hold it. She can move first. It is not about perfection. You do not need to be flawless, never afraid, never tired. The universe does not demand that. It only asks that you keep choosing truth over illusion, alignment over fear, faith over doubt. Even if you fall for a moment, even if you spiral briefly, you always return. That return is the proof that you are entrusted with this role. So the next time you ask, "Why me?" remember this: because you are the one who can. Because your soul chose it. Because the masculine cannot feel safe to surrender until you embody what surrender looks like. And because the union depends on someone holding the flame first, and that someone is you, the universe did not choose wrong. You were entrusted because you are ready. And every step you take now, every breath you ground in alignment, every truth you embody, all of it shapes the path not just for you, but for him, and for the union you came here to anchor. You were never powerless. You were chosen, and that is why the universe entrusted you with this sacred role. At the heart of the twin flame journey lies a paradox. Union is already true in the soul, yet it must still be chosen in the physical. And in this final stage, the bridge between what is eternal and what becomes real is built by the feminine's decision to move first. This is the sacred truth that cannot be avoided. Moving first does not mean chasing. It does not mean lowering yourself or begging for his attention. Moving first means embodying union before it manifests in the material. It means deciding that your alignment, your mission, your truth are no longer negotiable. It means living in the vibration of union, even if the outer world has not yet caught up. That choice is the spark that accelerates everything. The masculine feels her shift instantly. Even if he says nothing, even if he remains silent for a time, his soul reacts. Suddenly, the field between them no longer feels heavy with waiting or doubt. It feels alive. It feels magnetic. His excuses lose their weight. His distractions no longer satisfy. He is drawn toward her energy like a tide pulled by the moon. Because her movement changes the gravity of the connection itself. This is why the feminine's role in moving first is not weakness, it is power. To embody the truth before it is visible is the essence of faith, and faith is the frequency that builds the bridge from spirit to matter. Each time she chooses to stand in that truth, the distance between them shrinks. The timeline shortens, union comes closer, but the feminine must also understand this. Moving first is not about him, it is about her. The moment she steps into alignment, she liberates herself from the prison of waiting. She stops asking when and starts embodying now. She stops handing her power to his silence and begins to live in the fullness of her own soul. And it is precisely that liberation that makes union possible. The masculine cannot surrender into a field that feels unstable. But when she is steady, when she has already chosen love over fear, when she radiates alignment without needing proof, that is when his soul knows the path is open. That is when his walls collapse. That is when union becomes inevitable. The final message, then, is simple but powerful. Do not wait passively. Do not shrink into doubt. Do not let his hesitation convince you that nothing is happening. Something is happening, and it begins with you. The moment you move, the entire field moves. The moment you embody, his resistance begins to break. The moment you choose truth, union comes closer. This is the sacred design. The feminine carries the flame first. She anchors the vibration. She steps into alignment. And because energy always leads matter, her movement becomes the blueprint for his surrender. So, beloved feminine, if you feel the call now, do not ignore it. The restlessness in your chest, the urgency in your soul, the synchronicities that surround you, they are not accidents. They are confirmations. They are the universe saying, "It's time." And when you move, not in chasing, but in living as though union is already here, you will feel the shift. The energy will change. The field will expand. And he will feel it too. Because moving first does not just prepare you, it prepares him. It prepares the union. It prepares the bridge between what has always been true and what is finally ready to manifest. Union is not a dream waiting in the distance. It is a reality waiting for embodiment. And the first step into that embodiment is yours. Move first. Trust the design. Step into the vibration of truth. And watch how quickly union follows.